So, hello everyone. I'm just connecting again with an old friend of mine. I've been friends with Alva for the last few years now. I'm going to say 2 or 3 years. We've been sort of connecting and chatting along the way, along our journeys,
Yeah, yeah.
just sort of finding our way along the way together, our way to get our health back. Alva, could you just share a little bit about you and what you've been doing and what's gone on with you?
Yeah, so I think we met on Facebook 3 years ago, but we connected 2 years ago, I think more consistently, other than just liking each other's pace. I participated in a 10-day program, I think, that you and Sabina did. I can't remember, something to that effect. And at that time, I was on a walker, which I had been on since 2017, which was probably, I don't know, my third time on a walker. I've had to learn how to walk again like 3 or 4 times as an adult due to lower spinal, hip osteoarthritis, overweight, bad eating habits, um, just a lifestyle at up until then of not taking care of myself. Um, yeah. So, anyway, so I took that 10
How
day
old
course.
are you, Alva?
I will be 59 next month, 59 years young.
Okay, okay.
And in the past couple of years, I really focused more on mindset, body, emotional, and mental healing. And through more of a raw vegan diet, that's kind of like where I started, was like with some juicing and trying to go raw. And fast forward, it's taken all of those 2 years plus now to like, I feel pretty solid in my raw. Pretty much it's mostly fruit now and a little bit of salads here and there, and water fasting. That's the new thing for me probably in the last 8 months. I finally released 40 pounds of waist slash weight, and I'm off the walker as of last August, like the end of August of last year. So I just use a cane. And I'm really eager about regaining more stability, flexibility, and mobility. Because you use a cane, you walk like a walker, you're kind of bent over, and so I notice it's done this thing to my lower back. And even with a cane, you're not actually balanced. So even when you stand up, you kind of my body leans to one side. I currently have and have since 2012 paralysis in my left leg from my buttocks all the way down to the soles of my feet. So that has been a really big challenge. And a year ago, I had this sciatic flare up a year ago in January that was crippling, wound up having to quit work. And so I've been out of work for the last year. Um, couldn't get my own socks on. Using the bathroom was excruciating. Sleep was not happening. Just, it's been a rocky year. However, it's also been a really wonderful year because it's really clarified, the need for discipline and consistency and stuff like that. And I had to find my way with that because I don't do very well with push and force, because what I've unearthed in all this time, and especially in this last year, because I've done a lot of emotional and mental healing work, shadow work, is that I was taught to push everything down, push past everything, just, from the accident. You just got to get out there. You have a kid to raise. You got to, you know what I mean? Like I had a stroke. I've just had a lot of physical stuff over the years, and I just kind of shoved my way through it and went the medical route until this last year. So a lot was underneath all of that. And I have a long history with addiction going back to age 10. And the last of it was cooked food, emotional eating, which I feel 100% finally on the other side of. And that, I have to say, was harder than getting off of cocaine and alcohol and cigarettes and everything else. I feel like the cooked food and distraction were the two hardest addictions to kick. And so I'm almost, I feel like, on the other side of distraction as well. So that's where we are. And I'm here today. I feel really vulnerable, not because you're recording, but my family sees how I move. My roommate sees how I move, but I'm not like, it just, I don't know, just the wobbliness and stuff like that. My inner child's like, oh my God. And then I'm like, no, 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 honey, we have to do this. I have to do this in order to be able to sit comfortably, lie comfortably, stand comfortably, walk, with confidence, not worrying about falling or tripping or any of those things.
Mhm.
So, and I still have, I don't want to say hip issues, but in my left hip, it is bone on bone. There's no cartilage there, but I'm choosing not to have the surgery because I did have it on the right side. It's a pretty violent surgery. But what I didn't know at that time that I now know with every fiber of my being is that the body is self cleansing, self healing, and self maintaining. And so, what I'm committed to in 2023 is unshakable alignment, and what that looks like for me is I have to feed my body living foods so that it can cleanse and heal. And I have to fast because it needs emptiness and rest to do that. So my movement is, I am dancing now, finally. I learned my grandbaby, the 2-year old, taught me, or he was one at the time, taught me to dance sitting down and lying down, and then with the walker, and now with the cane. So, and then, and without the cane. And so that's kind of my movement, but I know that my body needs just a little bit more, just to help lymph and just to begin to restore, like I said, balance, harmony, all that good stuff. So that's why I'm here now.
Yes, yes, that's right. That's what we want to do. And we also want to just connect movement with breath.
Yes, yes. Yeah.
This is a big one. This is like the physical mental connection when we connect movement with breath and we see that our breath um, affects our movement and that
Yes.
all of our movements are actually connected to a certain way of breathing, but we've sort of come out of sync with that, with holding our breath, with shallow breathing, with worried thoughts in the mind. We get panicky breath, we lose
Oh, for sure.
contact with breath, we hold our breath, we this is the thing. And so we start to create acids inside of our body and we start to lean on certain places in our body and acids collect in certain places in our body and our
Especially
consciousness
in
and our
joints. Yeah. Yeah, totally. That's thank you for bringing up the breath because I grew up with asthma and on medication for that, which I no longer take. I've been off medication for everything for a couple of years. But you make a very important point. Living with chronic pain, which I've been living with since I was like 13, uh, makes for a lot of shallow breathing. And I do have a long history with breath work because I have my spirituality is leans more to the Hindu side of, and everything, and how important prana is in that um, uh, modality, religion, whatever we want to call it. And so breath has been really key, and I'm now aware of when I'm breathing shallowly, which I wasn't before. And this last year of pain, um, the breath has really helped me. It hasn't relieved the pain, but it's helped me. And I say this with deep, deep gratitude, not resist the pain, lean into it, if you will, and ask its message for me. So,
sit in it, find some ease in the disease, like find some comfort in the discomfort. Like, can I press into the discomforting place? This is, when we breathe in, we're oxygenating the body. When we breathe out, we're detoxifying the body. When we breathe out, we're pushing into the carbon dioxide, we're pushing into the acid. This is in the exhale. So,
Mhm.
when we exhale, if we can press into this uncomfortable place and sit here and hold our breath in that exhale, that's the more discomforting place. That's the disease in our body or our life. If we can kind of go into that space and we can bring light in there, so if we can bring hopeful ideas in there, if we can bring in there loving, anchored, peaceful, accepting, forgiving ideas for this place, because there's bacteria, there's virus, that's emotional stuff that lives here in the dark space, in the shadows, right? So this is pressing into the shadows, is pushing into the out breath, right? So the body has a link between breath and pH and
Mhm.
acid and pressure in the body and oxygen and carbon dioxide release from the body. This is detoxification. The diaphragms of the body. This
Mhm.
is where we breathe into the diaphragms. They're connected to the core musculature. So the core musculature is connected to the breath. So the body is connected to the breath through connected to the brain through the breath. This the breath is the balancer between body and mind. So if we can put movement and breath back together, and we want to do this in a natural way. So we've come out of sync with movement and breath.
Yes.
We've lost this contact, and we can get it back the same way that we got it in the first place. What we got it when we were children, when we were babies and we were laying on the mat, we were laying on the floor, and we were raising our feet in the air. This is how we built our breath and our movement contact originally. So, what we're
Mhm.
just doing is we want to return back to like just original state and being and foundation, and this is how we developed ourselves in the outskirts. This is how we began. So, we want to go back to the beginnings, and we want to just move from the beginning. Okay, so I'm just gonna go into the studio, and I'm just gonna like sit on the mat just down on the floor with you,
Okay.
and if we can just move through a series of things. I'm just gonna talk a little bit about maybe about primal movement and understanding what that is, and really that's the movement of the body that didn't get told anything. Like we didn't get taught how to move as a child on the blanket. We just did it. It
Yeah.
was it was innate. It was developmental. It was foundational. So this is a part of the primitive programming. So this is where we want to come down to the breath and the primitive programming and the foundational stuff that happened between birth and pulling yourself up onto the coffee table at year one and taking your first one, two, three steps where you're moving through your gait, walking, running, jumping. This is foundational developmental stuff. We can take you from not being able to move to re-strengthening and re-lengthening and reconditioning and reconnecting body and mind, and with a healing thought process in mind. Why can't we restore all health to the body and mind?
Sounds exciting.
Okay, so
And
let's
it
do.
sounds like you get it. It sounds like you get where my body is, so I'm really excited about that.
All right. Can you hear me here?
I can. You're a little low, but let me turn up my volume. Okay, now I can hear you.
Hopefully that's all good. I'm
Yeah.
just gonna start off really down on my mat, and I say this is the way that the baby started. We put the baby down on its back on a blanket in the living room, and the baby would just try to, lift its feet. It might want to try to lift its head. So this is where we want to start. We want to try to start with the feet in the air. If we
Okay.
can lay on our back and get our feet in the air, if we can't get 2 feet in the air, then we just put 1 foot in. But this is what we want to try and do, is we want to get to our feet in the air. This is kind of developmental. So I'm just sort of getting into my foundational or my developmental posture. And I'm just kind of working on my full inhale and my full exhale. See, the breath balances the body. Nice, deep, full breaths bring the body back into the parasympathetic and allow it to just do what it already knows how to do. You just want to let the body do what it needs to do. Just put yourself in the position and just work on your best inhale and exhale and focus in yourself. Focus on your breathing and focus on your goal. I am restoring balance to my body. I am coming back into harmony and balance. Like at the cellular level, at the DNA level, every single cell, it knows how to recreate itself perfectly. So, we're just tapping into the body and the mind and affirming over the body and the mind that, I am restoring health and balance in my body. Just getting into flexion, just having my feet in the air. If you can, reach like the baby would, reaching towards the feet, right? This is how the child would reach toward its feet,
Okay. Hang on.
right? The child may kick its feet. Things like this where you're kicking your feet, you can reach and kick your foot. Reach and touch your foot. Try to reach and touch your knee. Pulling through the center of my body, moving and breathing.
I can reach and touch the knees, not the foot so much. Not the feet, but the
Sorry, I can't really hear you really well in here.
okay. I said I can reach and touch my knees. Is that better? Not the feet so much. This leg has some deformity, but I can do this. Am I supposed to do it with this hand or the right hand or the left hand?
So this is it. I can go opposite arm and leg. This is wonderful. Or I don't even have to use my arms. I can just pull one leg, pull the other leg. Just working like this, pulling through the hips. I'm working on both sides of my body. On the back side, I'm lengthening. On the front side, I'm strengthening. Pulling through the core. Exhale. Inhale to open. Exhale to pull.
Okay,
Inhale to open. Exhale to pull. Connecting movement and breath. If you can straighten out your leg, exhale. Inhale, exhale.
I can straighten out the right.
Exhale. Pulling through your center.
Okay, I can straighten out the right leg, but not the left.
Inhale, exhale. If you can add that reach across the body, that's all working through the core, all through the front of the body.
Do you raise the head or no? I guess I need to turn you this way a little bit so you can see. Am I raising my head too, or just laying it on the floor? Okay. That is very challenging. I can't do that with my head down. I can do it this way. but I can't do it with, where'd you go?
Recording in progress.
Hello?
Okay, I'm here.
Okay, now I can hear you.
Okay. Uh-oh, there's an echo.
Okay. Maybe I'll turn off this one. All right. I couldn't hear you before, so I wasn't sure what you were saying, but now I can hear what you're saying. So
Okay. The position that you did where you had both in the, I can do this or I can do this, but I like,
do what I can do. These are just positions to get into, and everyone just finds out what they can do for themselves. Here I am, just working in a ball. If I can just work on my best flexion, the point is that I want to try to pull my head towards my hips in the best way that I can. I want to pull my head towards the hips in the best way that I can. If I can do both legs, wonderful. If I can do one leg, wonderful. If I can do one leg, I can pull it in, then the other leg, I want to try to straighten it out. So if I pull one leg in, I want to try to straighten the other leg out. Pull one knee into my shoulder, push the other leg out. Right? So if I'm pulling one in, pushing the other one out. Then switching to the other side, pulling one in, pushing the other out. Right? Working through the core, just stretching and just breathing. The point is to come away from thinking and come into breathing. Come away from what I can't do to just thinking about breathing and letting go.
okay.
If I can sort of come to the point where I'm not worrying about the exercises, as I'm sort of relaxing in the exercise and allowing the body to heal. If I'm in a panic, then I'm not in a healing space. So I've got to relax into the exercise.
Okay.
I've settle myself down. I've got to put calmness in my thought process, in my mind, in my dialogue, in my movement, in my breath. I've got to slow myself down with my breathing. So the next thing the child does is the child spins over onto its front side. And then the child tries to lift its head. So, we want to try to do things where we're trying to extend the body this way. We want to try to look up. Let the head come over and lift the head up, look up. Let the head flex over and extend the head. So I want to work on my extension and flexion of my head and neck. Just want to restore my body with flexion and extension and movement and breath. Exhale over, inhale up. Exhale over, inhale up. Get into your movement and your breath and come away from what you're worried about or what you're afraid of or what's wrong. Just exhale over and inhale up. So I just work on extension. Then I can sort of come up to my elbows, maybe get some deeper extension this way on my elbows, just working on flexion and extension there on my elbows. Just moving and breathing, working through the body. Building the body up, and if I can get bigger with my extension, I push up into my hands. Just carrying the weight in my hands. I want to breathe and carry my weight and allow the muscles to lengthen out. It's like I have to get into the position and I have to relax and breathe and tell the body to slow down. Tell the muscles to let go. Like tell the muscles something that's safe and anchored and not worried. I have to kind of get out of a worried sort of thought process in order to restore health in my body. Here I am turning to my side, and just on my side, I'm just going to work on lifting my hips up. Bend my knees, lift my hips up. Lifting into the back, lifting into the side body, pressing into my elbow. Moving and breathing, moving and breathing. Same thing on the other side, on my knee. I gotta bend my knees so that I can lift my chest and my shoulders up. Open up my chest and my shoulders. Push up on my elbow. Lift my hip off the mat. Lift my hip off the mat. My hip is coming up off the floor. My hip is rising. My hip is coming back down to the floor. Right, so I have to work on my side body. Right, I come onto the back. I come onto my hands and my knees. Here I can work on my flexion and extension in my neck. Here I can come down to my elbows, and just on my knees I can hold my plank. I'm building up strength in my middle, in my core. I'm holding my weight in my middle. I'm holding my weight in my arms. I'm bracing in my center. I'm working on my core. I'm getting stronger. Just breathing with a real positive, anchored frame of mind. If I practice every day, I will get stronger. If I work on my strength, I will get stronger. If I work on my flexibility, I will get better. If I work on my balance, it will improve. Whatever I work on, I will get better. This is just sort of a positive anchored thought process or affirmative dialogue associated with what I'm doing, my goal, what I want to do. Coming back up to my hands and my knees, and I'm just working on opening up opposite arm and leg. This is balance and strength and flexibility. Can I hold it out there? That's all core strength and flexibility. Stretching out the opposite arm and leg. This is how the body is wired, opposite arm and leg. That's the primitive patterning, opposite arm and leg, right? We learned how to crawl. That's how we learned how to walk. That's how we're wired that way. That's the primitive program. So if we work on the flexion, extension of the spine, we work on the opposite arm and leg programming, we're working on the breathing, trying to breathe out there. Take your best inhale and your best exhale while you're stretched out in that position. Take your best inhale and your best exhale while you're stretched out in that position. There you go. Flipping over onto my back. Down on my back, one leg in the air. I'm just going to push down and lift, down and lift, down and lift one leg up. Lift one leg up, pushing down through the hips and the hamstrings and the glutes. One leg in the air, down and up, down and up. See if I can do 10 times or 15 times. Lift, lift, lift. I'm pushing, I'm bracing, I'm working on my glutes, I'm working on my hamstrings. I'm working on myself. I'm getting better. 10 times lifting on one side, same thing on the other side, 10 or 15 times lifting through the glute, lifting through the hamstring. I am strengthening up my glutes and my hamstrings. Those are my balancing muscles. I'm putting balance and stability and strength into my body. I am restoring my health. Then I can do both legs, down and up, down and up, down and up, lifting through the hips. Working on my glutes, working on my hips, lifting through the hips. Both legs, feet on the ground, both feet on the ground, both feet on the ground, both feet on the ground, and lifting the hips. Or, yeah, there's a wonderful one too. Lifting both legs in the air and trying to lift the hips. That's another one. That's a real aggressive core one as well too. But all of these activities where I'm squeezing through the middle and lifting up through the glutes and the hips and the core. Awesome. Lift the legs, kick the legs into the air. This is what the child did, right? Kick the legs up into the air. Kick the legs up into the air. This is what we did when we were children. Kick the legs up. Yes. Or even if I can't get my rear end to lift, then I can just work on my flexion extension at my knees. Just flexing and extending my knees. Right, and then how about I flip over on my knees and I work on this one. Working on my arms, pushing through my middle. Working on my arms, pushing through my middle. How about that? Push. Oh, push back. Oh boy. Come on. Push right back. Oh my gosh. Oh. Forward. Push back. Oh my gosh. Bend my elbows. Push back. Oh my gosh. Come on. Give myself a push today. Come on. Give myself a push today. Come on. Stretch. Strengthen the body. Oh boy. Ooh. Oh my gosh.
That was a push.
Should have had this camera on. That's too bad. First time trying that, so
That's okay.
we did pretty good, I think.
Yeah. I did some stuff I didn't know I could do. It helped having you say affirmative statements. I focused on your voice and not the voice in my head.
This is the thing. If I'm trying to create something new, then the voice in my head will be something old.
Yeah.
So the only way that I can create something new is if I can get a new voice in my head.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm working on that.
Okay, so that's it. It's to get around a something new that's giving me some accountability on a daily basis.
Yeah. 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 It was nice to focus more on the breath too than the thought in my head. So I could see what my body could do instead of what mine said it could do, and feel the discomfort, not hurting, but seeing if it could how it body responds to the directions you're giving, I should say. That felt better, right? Like, because you don't have an I can't going on for me. So if you said do this, and it was like, okay, do what you're, like just try it. I guess that's kind of how I felt. Let's just try
This
it.
is that's
Try.
it. Like the body resists it. Like your mind's always going with the resistant thought because it's been inactive. So now we need to get it active again. We gotta
Yeah,
stretch it. Oh my gosh.
yeah, yeah. But it was good. It was good. I don't know, it did probably didn't look like yours, but it didn't need to look like yours, right? I was able to see what I could do for each position that you could do. And I don't want to say I could do, I was able to see, I don't know, I was just able to see what body could do that I didn't know it could do, if that makes sense. Do you know what I
This
mean?
is it. We always have a limited belief of ourself.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
always have the limited worldview that we are in. We are in our story, so we see from our perspective.
Yeah, well, I'm ditching old stories, making new
There we
stories.
go. There we
So I feel
go.
like so I feel like what I got in this experience was a new story, because I didn't know what it could do, and discomfort doesn't necessarily mean pain, or it doesn't necessarily mean force. It means, like you said, stretch. So yeah, so that was very good. That was very good.
It's like
And
we
so
have it's experiential. Like you have to have the experience before you can know. Like, and before you have the experiences, we're resistant.
yeah, or you just didn't know. You know what I mean? I just didn't know what it could do. I'm so used to what it couldn't do. If what what I thought it couldn't do, or yeah, the story about what I couldn't do, not
And
necessarily.
then we get at it and we take action and we actually try. And oh my gosh, I find something out new.
Yeah, yeah. I found
Hmm.
a lot out new, which was really.
Okay, wait a second. You mean if I take a step forward, that something new will be there to support me?
Yeah. That's been my experience so far. Yeah, that's.
You're kidding me. Lovely, Alva. It's been really great to catch up with you today.
Thank you. Will you send me this video so I can see your form, and like make some focus there on.
I think I had my camera wrong. Hopefully, I'll see how it turned out. I'll send it for sure. Hopefully, we got
Yeah, I'll be
something
able to hear
to
your
share
voice.
today.
So that'll be fine. Thank you so much for your time today,
You're
Frank.
welcome.
Appreciate you.
See you later.
Okay, ciao, ciao.
Bye.